Okay, I think we are good to go. What's up, everyone? Jeremy here, and today we are gonna work our way towards adding a new flag to Cargo Scout. Now, Cargo Scout is a small project that I've created it says a couple of months ago, but I haven't really contributed to it for quite a while. And today we are going to have a look at a pretty small issues, which is the pass no default features to Clippy. And as you probably can't see yet, but as we are going to see pretty soon, adding a new command flag to Clippy is not too much of a big deal. And there are other issues here as well, which is pass dash dash features to Clippy and pass dash dash all features to Clippy, which will actually follow pretty much the same steps and process as we are going to see right now. So once I'm done showing you how to do this, I'm gonna add links to this video to the GitHub issues, and I'm gonna mark them as good first issues. So you're gonna have all the documentation you need to try it on your own. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. Open an issue, have small conversation with me on Twitter, or don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. I'm more than happy to provide guidance. So the issue here claims that the dash dash no default features flag should be caught and passed to Clippy. We are going to have a look at an example right here. On the left-hand side here, this is the terminal that is used for me to build and run Cargo Scout, okay? And on the right-hand side, as you can see here, I am using a project, which is Neko. Neko is a project developed by Mozilla to write a quick parser. Quick is something like HTTP3 to make it very simple. And it's a project that has some default features. If I cat cargo.toml, I can see there's a default feature which is deny warnings. And the problem is if I try to pass the linter, as I'm going to try to do it right now, if I run cargo clippy, I'm going to do it again. Cargo clippy dash 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 warn clippy pedantic. I'm trying to warn if a lint occurs. But as a matter of fact, since the default features denies any warning, the build is going to abort. There's going to be an error, okay? But if I pass the dash dash no default features flag to Clippy, once I run it, oh, I need to cargo clean first. Cargo clean. And if I pass the dash dash no default features to Clippy, then it's going to output the lints, but it's just going to be warnings because I actually disabled the default features, okay? So this here is going to serve as my test suite, so to say, because it's going to allow me to see if the no default features flag is actually being passed or not. So I am gonna, I have already built it. So I'm just building Cargo Scout on the left-hand side and then running it, Cargo Scout, target, debug, Cargo Scout. And I'm running it on the right-hand side so we can actually try to run Clippy in the Neko folder. And as you can see here, there's an error saying that it could not compile Neko common, which is something that allows me to say, I'm going to run it with a verbose flag. This is something that allows me to say, as you can see, that there were a lot of lints and that the Clippy run failed, which is basically what happens when we don't disable the default features. Okay, so now we are going to see how to pass the flag to Clippy. If you want to pass the flag to Clippy, we are going to go to the source code of Cargo Scout, and there's a file called clippy.rs, which is the one that is actually being displayed here. And there's a structure that is called a linter, which for now has only one flag, which is verbose, okay? And it does a lot of things, and there's a clippy function here, and the function invokes cargo with some command parameters. And the command parameters, as you can see here, are cargo, clippy, message format, JSON. And if verbose flag is set, then we are going to add verbose to the parameters, and then dash dash W, clippy pedantic. If you have read what was written down here on the right-hand side, it's pretty close to what we have had, okay? Cargo clippy, maybe dash dash verbose, then double dash, dash W, clippy pedantic. Okay, what we want to do now is add a no default features flag. Okay, so let's try to just add the no default features raw to see if it actually built. Here is without the no default features flag. Trying to run Clippy. And it failed. And I'm just going to add, for example, here, the dash dash no default features flag. I'm going to build it again. And I'm going to run it again against the Neko common. No warnings. Awesome. We have been able to successfully build and run Cargo Scout. So right now, what we're going to do is try to find our way and figure out how to handle that. Let's remove this flag here and try to work our way towards adding everything. So we of course would love to have something like the if self verbose flag here. So this is basically what we're going to do. There will be several things to do. Let's start by writing a test. As you can see down in the Clippy file, there are several tests. One of them is the testset verbose, and there's a test get env, and there's a test get command parameters. So maybe here we want to add a new test, let no default features linter equals linter.set. We're going to set verbose back to false because we actually don't need it. And we are gonna set the no default features to true. This is gonna behave pretty badly. Yeah, because there's no method named set no default features. But let's pretend there is because we are gonna add it pretty soon. So once I have added this test, I need to add my expectations. My expectations would be the set of parameters that I am actually supposed to find when I add the set verbose to false and no default features to true. When I add set verbose to false and no default features to true, I am supposed to see to not see the verbose flag anymore, but see the no default features instead. Okay, and the last thing would be the assertion. I'm going to assert that when I call the get command parameters function into my linter, which has been set up previously, I'm going to get the no default features command parameters. So I'm going to go through that again because not everyone is accustomed to writing tests. So I'm going to go through it again. A test has 3 steps. There's a setup phase, there's a run phase, and there's an assert phase. Let me break it down to you so you can see it, so it can be very obvious. Let actual features, let actual parameters equals. There you go. So this would be the setup phase where I actually set up the linter and I actually set up my expectations. There's then a run phase, which is the actual test running, where I am actually invoking the function. And there's then an assertion phase, which is the third step, which is the step in which I actually make sure that what was supposed to happen actually did happen. So I make sure that if I set up the linter this way and I run this function, then I'm going to get these parameters back. Okay? So let's try to see if it runs. I'm going to cargo test dash dash all. Yeah, of course it won't run. It won't run because it won't compile, and it won't compile because there is no set default features function to the linter. Okay, so let's add a set no default features to the linter. As you can see, there is a builder pattern. I can maybe explain what a builder pattern is in a subsequent video. If you would like me to do this, please let me know in the comment. Um, So there's a builder pattern, which allows me to add flags, which would be a Boolean, and it will return a mod self. Basically, I copy pasted what was right above, okay? So now there is a set no default features function. It's complaining right now because nobody uses it. That might come in handy later. So right now, we can actually compile and test. Let's do this. So first of all, we get a warning because no default feature is actually not used in our function, which is fine. And one of our tests here, oh, sorry, here is failing. Why is it failing? It is failing because it says, I did not get what I was expected to get. Basically, I expected to have these flags, clippy, message format, JSON, no default features, dash dash, dash W, clippy pedantic. And I actually got clippy, message format, JSON, dash dash, dash W, clippy pedantic. Of course, there is not any no default features command argument being passed yet because we have not handled it yet. So let's try to handle that. So the way to handle that would would be pretty simple is to get to the git command parameters here to this flag and add something like we have just done it for self.verbose. Let's do it again for self.self, not that no default features, and params.push, which will add an argument to the params vector, and I'm just pushing this new param, okay? We're gonna get an error, and the error that we are gonna get is that there is no default features in the clippy linter. So let's edit. Here we go. And let's try, oh, let's wait for the compiler to help us out right here. So the default constructor doesn't have any value for no default features. Let's edit. Okay, looks better. There's still this warning. We are going to run the test again and it's going to fail. And it's going to fail for the exact same reason. We are not able to make sure that we are pushing the parameter to no default features if no default features is enabled. But in our builder pattern here, we did not set it actually. Self.no default features equals no default features. Let's run cargo test and everything is working. I'm going to build it again just for the hell of it. I still get a warning, which is pretty interesting. We are going to find out why. Um, Cargo Scout still doesn't compile. On Neko, we are going to try to pass no default features, and we get an error. And what error do we get, and why is that? There is no argument that is named no default features in our Cargo Scout application. So what we're going to do now is add it to the main file. So I went to main.rs, and I'm going to add just the same way as it's written here. I'm going to add a no default features flag. Okay, this is a flag that has no short version. A short version is a dash with one letter, and the long version is a dash dash with one or several letters. So the long version would be dash dash no default features. Now pass the no default features flag to clippy. So now we understand what it is, what it does, and how it's going to behave. Okay, I'm going to cargo build, and I'm going to cargo run dash 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 help. I think that's the okay. So as you can see, what I've just added here actually adds a new flag, which is here, and it actually adds the comment, which is pretty handy. So people who are using Cargo Scout are going to be able to see that there's now a new flag, which is no default features, and it's supposed to pass the no default features flag to Clippy. Okay. Now that I've built it, I'm going to run it again. It's not going to complain anymore about no default features not being available, but we are going to have another problem, which is the last problem actually. That is that the no default features flag, which is in the options right now, has not been passed to the linter. So we are going to use the method that we have just created, set no default features to opts no default features. Let's try to see how it goes. Set no default features. I'm going to build it again, cargo build, and I'm going to try to run it again. No warnings raised. Okay, you see, we now have a new flag that actually allows us to have the no default features and use it correctly. So um, I'm gonna run a git status and git diff, and we are gonna walk again through everything that we have done so we could add the new flag. In Clippy, there is a linter structure which takes a couple of flags. We added a new one, which is no default features. Then in the new function for the linter, we added a default state for that, which is false by default. We have added a new function, set no default features, which allows us to use a builder pattern once we are creating the linter. In our get parameters, we added the new parameter, which is no default features, if the flag is on. We have added a pretty cool new test, which I'm gonna refactor and extract the faces away because it's gonna look more consistent with the other tests. But anyways, we have written a new test that makes sure that if the flag is set, we are actually being passed the new parameter. And using struct opt, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to the first contributor to the project, which has actually replaced our usage of clap with a usage of struct opt. Thank you very much for doing that. And by using struct opt, we have actually added a new command line flag. And as I said before, by using the builder pattern, we instantiated a new linter, we set the verbosity level, and we set the no default features flag. And that's it. We are now able to run cargo clippy on Neko without the default features. Well, that's pretty much it for today. It has actually enabled us to fix this issue. And as you can probably see here, there's a new issue that is now a pretty low hanging fruit, which is the pass all features to Clippy. Pass all features to Clippy is the exact same thing as what we have just done. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any question, please let me know in the comments below or reach out to me on Twitter. I'm going to add links to Cargo Scout, to my Twitter accounts and everything right now. And I hope you have a nice day. Bye.